Alright, is my hair still bad? It probably is anyway. So, just got done watching Angel Studios' new movie, Truth and Treason, and you might be like, ugh, Angel Studios, another Nazi slash movie about history? Well, I'll give you one thing. This is actually one of the better ones, and better acted ones, for sure. Chase Liaki here with the Blue Futon, reviewing Truth and Treason. What's about pretty simple premise? We are between 1940 and 1942, and we're following 3 to 4 teenagers around, and they kind of had it with Hitler and what's going on in Germany, and they decided to print these leaflets and around the cities, but the secret police is after them, and if they get caught, beheadings, killings for sure. And so, did I like this film? Like I said in the intro, I kind of did. This is a well-acted, thought-out movie. It is a 2-hour movie. You do feel some of the runtime in the first hour of the movie, but when the second half starts, it is full-fledged. Oh my gosh, I'm interested where the story is going to go. So like I said, for the positives, the acting, absolutely fantastic with this one. The teenagers, the secret police, everyone involved, the girl character, even the side characters, you truly feel where they're at, and you feel the tension, the fear, the sadness, the emotions, the happiness, all the actors. Like, they did a fantastic job. I do think this is one of the better ones for sure, dealing with the subject matter as well as coming out of Angel Studios. I don't know if they actually produced and distributed this one. I don't know. So we have good there. The feel of the movie, of course, it does feel like 1940s Germany through and throughout with all the characters. And I do like how they did add the religious element to this one. I know when people see Angel Studios, they're like, and it kind of like sees out, because when they see Angel Studios, they like the Reddit sees happens. This one, it is a religious element because they're Mormon, right? And fun fact, Angel Studios is actually more of a Mormon, company. But with this, they needed to have a religious element because what was happening in the Mormon church in Germany, what was happening with other elements of religion, and how it kind of connects, where it's like, you know what? I know I'm doing the right thing, and I'm doing right by God, because Hitler is changing the Bible, is changing history, and that's what this is about. So you do really get that aspect to it. And when, like I said, when we get to that cat and mouse chase sequence of these leaflets coming out to the city, to the streets, and the secret police is after them, and what is happening to the secret police as well, I think it's tenfold fantastic, because instead of just focusing on these teenagers, we're focusing on the lives of these secret police and how what they're dealing with is not as simple, because a lot of stories with Nazisms really treat Nazis as like one-dimensional characters with no emotions and everything like that. Here, we get emotions with some of these Nazi characters, and you feel for them because what they're going through, it's almost like they're conflicting as well, of like, do I cross the Rubicon or do I not? So adding that to the story, I thought pushes it forward through and throughout. You can say that, the love interest was kind of tacked on, and they did that for a reason, to continue on with the story. Sure, why not? And getting to this point, you could say it was kind of slow with what happens to one of the friends and how it's going to go forward. Sure, I understand that criticism, and that could push the movie to be a little bit negative for some people. But like I said, after that first 30, 40 minutes, it really is steamrolling to like, oh my gosh, where's this going to go? Where's this going to go? Even though you kind of think you know where the story's going to go, you kind of do. But then you're like, oh snap, when the credits roll and you see what actually happened to some of the characters, you're just like, oh my god, some of these kids just can't get a break, especially one of them. And it is a pretty haunting scene what they do at the very end with, what happens to one of the characters. You're just like, damn, that's wild. That is wild. Now I'm going to go into a little rant. I already talked about a little with my out of reaction review is, I was the youngest in there, a lot of boomers, right? And I'm going to kind of connect this to the No King's March, right? Where people, even Boston's like, there's a lot of Q-tips out there, and the same thing where I'm in America, right? There's a lot of shit going on in the world, right? You could say the genocide in Nicaragua, you could say what's happening in Gaza and things like that, sure. But I'm going to focus on America and how everyone thinks our government is a authoritarian fascist regime, and we are copying what Hitler is doing. Are y'all drunk? I just want to be dead ass serious. Are y'all drunk? These old timers that really think this is a repeat, because that's one of the guys next to me say, he's like, we're repeating this. How are we repeating this? I just don't understand. Like, we are not killing people. We are not beheading people. We are not putting people in gas chambers. We're not forcing labor on anyone, like anything like that. Oh, but what about alligator Alcatraz and things like that? They're taking people that broke federal law and we're sending them back to their country of origin. We're not putting them in alligator Alcatraz or a random, place and be like forced labor, slave labor. There's more slaves in the world right now than there is past days. Okay, so there is that. So I just don't understand, like, there's no gas chambers coming up. Because they're using this fear-mongering language of they're disappearing people. No, they're not disappearing people. They're putting them in a system to know where they're going to go. And also lies, like Maryland Dad. Well, fun fact, Maryland Dad isn't from Maryland and doesn't speak a lick of fucking English. So you have things like that where it's like assimilation. And people keep conflicting illegal immigration and legal immigrants. If you're going through the country the right way and you take the test, I love it. I love that you're following the rules of the land. And if I'm going to India, Japan, and want to be a citizen of that country, I myself is going to learn that country, cultures, and language because it's the right thing to do. And that's where it is frustrating. And people don't realize that most of the people they're taking off the street are child rapists, are sex traffickers, are murderers. You're seeing how many times that people are being released, like 11 times. Like, I know it's an American citizen, but what happened to that, like, prom queen, that beauty queen that happened recently where the guy was released 11 times and decides to kidnap and kill her? Like, what are we doing? Why do we care so much about the criminals and not the victims families and things like that? Like, I just don't understand it. So this is my rant of what is happening because, like I said, the guy next to me just would not shut up about old boomer. Oh, this is what happened in America. It's happening right now. No, it isn't. Know your history of, like, what was happening in World War II was literally people getting still taken from their country, taken to another country to do slave labor. And this is the same thing that happened with one battle after another, right? Where they're like, oh, that's the Underground Railroads of, like, Harriet Tubman. What are we really comparing to slaves that were sold from Africans to America to become slaves and the railroad to make them free to go from the... Really? We're going to compare that, Harriet Tubman's struggles, to people paying cartels, paying coyotes to go from one country to this country. Are we really comparing that from what happened to the 1800s, 1700s to people freely coming across the border illegally? I just don't understand how we compare them at all whatsoever. But overall, like I said, that's my rant is over just because the comparison of what people are really trying to do with anything that happened in the past, even to Nazism, like, no gas chambers going up. No one is dying. Who are dying is leftists shooting these people in ICE custody and killing them. I mean, you can't write this up even like Trevor Noah. It's like, whoa, Charlie Kirk. I could do the same thing with that. Where leftists are all about the cause, but they're killing the illegal immigrants. It's fucking fascinating. So, truth and treason. Truth. Know the truth of what is happening now and what happened in the past. Treason is what is some of these, people in the government is doing. Like, it's crazy what some of the treasonous stuff is like. What if it was all the stuff like Adam Schiff is doing. Treasonous. What he did, lying to Congress, if this thing's told. But yes, go see this movie. I think it does itself good, and Angel Studios does a good job with this one. And I don't think Angel Studios is going to pay me after this review because I had a very strong personal opinion about the guy next to me. Not about the movie, though. So Truth and Treason will receive a 4 out of 5 with Futon, which equals at 80%. So let's see the critics and your scores gave this one. So Truth and Treason, we have an 83% with 18 of them with the critics. Audience score at 96% with over 100. I'm going to guess no critic consensus. No critic consensus. But there we go. 83, 96, 80. Chase out here the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm Linux Butontopia. Your Blue Futonians. Thank you for watching. A great day. I'm going to watch this today, tomorrow, a week, from a month, and a year from now. I'm just going to freak one of you. Peace and love. Peace and love. And what is your truth? Hope it's the true truth.